How's it going, everybody? This is Comics Chat with Gat, sitting edition, because people were really angry when we stood edition. I like standing. I have no problem with that.
You're just too much taller than I am.
I am really tall compared to you.
I should wear those platform shoes that for like my shaggy costume.
I would have been fine with that.
We'll try that next time.
Yeah, there we go. No, you put a lot of effort into this. So hopefully you guys enjoy the headspace. We're all fancy graphics are going up above us, I hope, or fun pictures of Taylor at the beach. I hope for that too. Or the picture of Tom Selleck laying out on a bearskin rug.
It wasn't Tom Selleck.
It wasn't Tom Selleck?
That's Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds, sorry. Same
Do you
guy.
want the Deadpool one?
Yes. Put the Deadpool one above us right now. And then he'll be laying there.
The show's not going on
so
Friday.
much headspace, it'll be perfect. Today we're actually going to be talking about Justice League, the trailer reaction. You know, we're a little bit late because the trailer did come out, but we want to do a little bit of research for you guys and figure out what this is connected to. So the Justice League trailer came out earlier last week, or whenever you're watching this. It's already been out, and so we wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about the connections that we are seeing with another DC movie, but it's animated, which we both agree the DC animated universe is heads and tails above Marvel's.
Yeah.
Marvel may be able to make better live-action movies, except with villains. They are not as great with the animated movies, and so that's where we see a connection with Justice League, and it's called
Justice League War, but
Yeah.
it's based off of Volume 1 and 2 of the New 52 Justice League. So that had a heavy influence of Cyborg. It did have some really great Green Lantern moments that obviously they're leaving out completely because Green Lantern is not a part of this movie.
You don't think that's true, though, right?
I think that's true.
So, kind of going over the trailer a little bit, it's still kind of dark.
My problem is it's got that Snyder, like, blarg filter.
The black and white almost, but not black and white.
Just like
Kinda
really
just
dark.
Just dark
Filter, and then there's
not even dark thematically in the sense, but dark color-wise.
dark color-wise.
We'll get dark thematically too.
I would say more
but-
like just like like brightness is like squeezed out of it.
Sure.
Like remember that trailer that someone did of Man
Superman.
of Steel,
Yeah.
but they put the color back in,
Yeah.
and you're like,
It'll look good.
because that's what his
Looks very
suit
good.
looks like. Whenever you see on-set photos of what Superman's suit looks like, it looks accurate color-wise.
Yeah.
It's just the problem is when you just put that filter on there, all of a sudden it's dark.
So, to go back to Justice League War, what is the story of it?
The story is that there are these creatures with like wings and stuff that are going around stealing people.
Parademons?
Which you find under Parademons, but of course people are blaming Batman. Because in this universe, it's supposed to be early. It's not like it's later Batman, which this is obviously later Batman. But it's supposed to be no one has met each other yet. So everyone's like thinking, is it Batman? Like, is it Wonder Woman and like Green Lantern? They don't know who he is. So
Sure.
Green Lantern comes to Gotham to like figure out what's going on. There's this guy, there's rumors of this Bat guy and like all this weird stuff. And Batman's like, you have this bright light like all over you. Like, could you just chill out for like 1 second? Like, you're giving our location away. And he's like, who are you? Go fuck yourself. You know, like, I protect Sector 2814 from everything. I'm a cop, you know? Who are you, vigilante
Space
boy?
cop.
Space cop. And he's like, dude, get your shit out of here, Hal Jordan. I'm pretty sure everybody knows his name because Batman knows everything because he's so cool.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what? How do you? And so, they're arguing, and then they end up finding the Parademon together and realizing there's mother boxes that teleport you, which is the mother box is that weird box you saw in Batman vs. Superman that Dr. Silas Stone put into his son to make him Cyborg.
Yeah.
And so, like...
What happened to his son?
As I sit here editing this video, I realized that the upcoming segment in which I explain Cyborg's origin story is not Cyborg's origin story. It's kind of almost Vibe's origin story in which a mother box does come and hits him and he boom tubes and that's how he can vibe. However, I'll give you Cyborg's origin story according to New 52. Cyborg, great student, football player, but football player is not like his dad who's a scientist. He's always like, come to my games, Dad, come to my games. And his dad's like, I'll be there, but he's a workaholic. He doesn't show up. So he comes back to the lab, Star Labs, to like be like, Dad, you didn't show up again. Then the Parademons attack the lab. Stuff blows up. His son is hurt, and he's been working on this tech to make a cyborg person kind of thing. And he basically goes, screw all the things. I'm gonna do it for my son because I need to save him because I forgot how much I love him and now he's gonna die unless I save him. So that's what happens. Anyway, back to our video. His son
He
was
looked like
playing
he was in
football.
pieces.
He's playing the football.
Yeah.
And the Parademons attacked. And I think, if I remember
He got
correctly,
attacked by a parademon?
they just attacked
Everyone.
Okay.
They just show but the thing is when they're the boom box the mother boxes, they're like the boom tube is what it's called. It's like a teleportation device. When they come in, it kind of just like it doesn't just like teleport you in. Like if it teleported right here, it would like you could only like if it was a circle here, this would burn away. If that makes any sense. Like it takes the place of what shit was there. And so I'm pretty sure that like he was just in a boom tube and like most of his body got fucked.
Oh, okay. Just
like,
burned away.
It just burned. It just like disintegrated and fucking like. And he's like a torso and like part of an arm. Okay. You know.
Take a quick second for that. What do you think of the CG of
the CG on Cyborg looks good. I just hate how much green screen. There's so much green screen in this movie that it looked like 300, and I think we're kind of over that.
Yeah, I think I was over it in 300.
Yeah,
just because I thought it was a good representation of what you'd be like. Oh. These are real places that they're going to, except for obviously Atlantis. But these are real places that they're going to. There's no need to have CG. Like when they.
Well, I think it might be on Apocalypse.
You think so?
All those, I mean, or they're at least on.
Wait, what is Apocalypse?
Apocalypse is where Darkseid is from, and where all the Parademons are from. So, for the record, Parademons Parademons, which you saw in the Knightmare scene of Batman vs Superman, seem to be all through this trailer. So definitely his nightmare is coming true. As far as the Apocalypse invading Earth.
Is this a nightmare or is this future telling? Because this also goes with Barry yelling at him through the timeline about Lois.
My biggest issue about all of that scene is at first you're like, maybe it's a dream. But then Barry shows up and you're like, well, not a dream. But then he wakes up a second time.
Yeah.
And that just really always is the biggest irk for me in that scene. If he never woke up a second time, you could believe that the Flash came back in time, as the Flash would do, to warn him. He just got there too early. He's like, I'm too early. Oh, crap. But why? And then you realize that it was real because the papers are still flying around him. But he goes, a second time. You're like, why?
Maybe just normal people wouldn't understand that, I guess. Because the time travel part was never touched on
But
in the
why
movie.
then? But still, half the things in that movie regular people
could
understand.
This be, so taking a quick aside, my theory for Justice League Part 2 is that Lois is going to die in Part 1. Superman's going to be back in this movie. He's going to become bad. And then it's going to be like a Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of thing, where Superman's going to be real bad in Part 2, and then they've got to all team up to fight him.
He wasn't bad in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
No? I thought he was bad because Lois died. Oh, that was the video game that everyone enjoys.
Yeah, Injustice.
Injustice.
Which, you know what? If they went an Injustice route with all of the DC Universe, it's already dark enough. Why not?
It's pretty cool.
I like Injustice. That's a good story.
So I guess to kind of put it together, do you guys think, or do you think that they're going to tie anything in with Barry and his future? Don't worry about Lois.
I hope that he runs. I mean, if anything, by the second Justice League movie, they have to.
There's only 2 parts of it, though. They're doing 2 parts of Justice League. There is no third part.
Right. Whatever. Okay. Then the second part in 3 years or 2 years or next year, whenever they do it. If they don't have him go back to do that, because, okay, so if we want to go back to where the comic book influence from this came from, because that's what we do on the show, is if you read Crisis on Infinite Earths, which, Chris,
It was right, like Crisis on Infinite Earths, I just had the plot
No,
wrong.
you were thinking of Final Crisis, so in Final Crisis, every big DC event, let's go back for a second, is named a Crisis, pretty much, with the exception of, so there's Crisis on Infinite Earths, there's Infinite Crisis is actually the one I'm thinking of. There's also Identity Crisis, and then Final Crisis. The only crisis that's not aptly named is, I would have to say, Flashpoint, which you could argue is a crisis because it changed. Every crisis is a big event that fundamentally changes the DC universe, whether it's killing a character, resetting things, changing things. And Flashpoint definitely changed things to a point where they're trying to fix those changes now with Rebirth. So in Crisis on Infinite Earths, what they were doing there is it's all based on storytelling reasons too. It's never like because they have their own alternate plots. And the plot of this was there are like 5 different Superman books out there, and they're all like maybe connected, sometimes connected. I don't know. Why don't we make it so that a regular person could pick up a book and continue on the darn story, you know? And so they made it from being like however many multiverse were there back then. I don't know if it was more than 52, but there's 52 now, to 1. There's only one universe. So the Flash from the Golden Age got melded into, and then Keystone City just all of a sudden fucking existed on Earth next to Central City, so that Jay Garrick Flash and regular Flash could run around together, and they kind of just molded it. They just basically took it all, mashed it together, killed characters, saved characters all over. The biggest characters that gave the biggest sacrifices were Earth 2 Superman, who was old-timey Superman, was married to Lois Lane, the Lex Luthor from Earth 3, which if you ever saw the cartoon Crisis on Two Earths, where Lex Luthor's the good guy and there's Ultraman, Owlman, and and Superwoman were the bad guys. That's that Lex Luthor, so the good Lex Luthor, as well as Superboy Prime. Superboy Prime is a really interesting character overall because he's supposed to come from Earth Prime, which the Flash misnames. Every Earth thinks they're Earth Prime. But according to comic books, Earth Prime is the one in which is our universe where we read comic books.
Okay.
And so the interesting story on Superboy Prime, which is in a really good comic book that I'm going to throw up here because I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Really good. It's about like how if the Crisis thing never happened, how that Superman came to be and would exist. And the idea is there is a kid. His last name is Kent. He's born in some small town in Kansas. His parents have read Superman comics, think it's funny to name him Clark. He gets Superman shirts his whole life. He's kind of like, by the time he's like 14, he's like, give me a break. This is so dumb. But he actually ends up having superpowers, and he has the powers of Superman, but ages like a regular person.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like the one anomaly in this world that is our world. There is a real guy, and so he saves people dressed as Superman because no one would believe you that you got saved by Superman because it's a comic book character. You're like, oh, sure you did. So he wears that. He ends up actually meeting a girl, and they laugh about it as adults.
Is her name Lois?
Lois Lane. And they just meet because, like, oh, my friend said I should meet you. Your name's Clark Kent. My name's Lois Lane. Ha, ha, ha. And then they end up falling in love and have kids. And, like, you should read the book. It's really good. Well written.
You just
There's more. There's so much more. The idea... Superboy Prime is the other character. And in the comic books, that's an Elseworld, which are always better, I'd argue, than most canon stories because you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want with them.
And so the idea is this is Superboy Prime. He gives up his life, but he becomes bitter because even though you think they died in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, they actually were in like a bubble, kind of. So it's Superman from Earth 2, Lois, old Lois, who is dying of cancer, but she's healed or she's stopped in time, Superboy Prime, and Lex Luthor, and they can see everything that's going on, and like all sorts of shit happens between then and Final Crisis. To where they're like, what do we give our lives up for? Like, you guys are all pieces of shit. Like, you did terrible things. Like, people cheated. The world still sucks even though we gave up our lives. So they break out, and Superboy Prime...
Of the bubbles?
Of this bubble that they're, like, saved in. And they're like, we're back, and we think this whole world should be wiped out because you guys gone fucked up, right? And so that's what Final Crisis is about, until they send Superboy Prime back to his original dimension, which happens... in Final Crisis, which is like 2007. So you have to understand, like 1987 is Crisis on Infinite Earths. Final Crisis happens in like 2007 when they bring Barry Allen back. And then recreate the multiverse. So all that time, there's only one Earth. It's just pretty crazy.
That is insane.
And Barry Allen was dead all that time too, for that like 30 years. And so... they bring Barry Allen back, bring back the multiverse because he's saved from the thing, and Superboy Prime gets sent back by the Legion of Superheroes to his original Earth, and when he gets there, he's all super stoked. He's like, oh my gosh, Lana, and like everyone else, because he's still a kid, but they're literally just read like all the terrible shit he did when he came back. It's like really meta, but like super, so good. So the idea is, Flash is always a part of all these crises, even though I just kind of, whatever. The point is, the Flash is always a big part. Wally was a big part of... Infinite Crisis, then Barry's again back in Final Crisis. Barry gives his life in Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is where he does, when he's running back in time to stop the Anti-Monitor a whole bunch of times, he goes to Batman and to a whole bunch of characters, but he's going so fast, he has problems understanding where he is in the timeline when he's talking to them, and so he does go super early to different characters or super late to different characters. He kind of shows up just like he did in Batman vs. Superman, kind of like out of time and tries to tell them something and then just disappears.
Interesting.
And so this makes me think that once they get to this crisis moment, whenever it's going to be in Justice League 1 or Justice League 2, he's going to be running so fast that he's trying to warn everyone, and he just happens to go back too far, and he says, I'm too early.
So do you see the Crisis being Superman, though? Because, I mean, it's Zack Snyder's had such a perverted way to look at Superman, in that you can see him being like, oh, you guys think he's this all-powerful person and he's all good? First off, I made him kill a dude. Second off, he's always melancholy. Third off, I'm going to make him the main enemy, and not Batman vs. Superman style, like taking over the world style in Justice League Part 2. And that's when Barry's got to go back and save Lois, or to make sure Lois is saved, and then...
But I feel like by going back and telling Bruce that Lois is the key, he would have saved Lois.
But when? Oh, true. you know what that part
Time
is.
travel.
That's true. Well, so that's a good question too, though, of the whole crisis thing. After a crisis, correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me, after a crisis, is everything different always in these situations after a crisis?
So the exception of, I think, Identity Crisis, which was more of a whodunit murder mystery, really fun book. They all kind of end up in drastic, not necessarily drastic changes overall, but something big happens. Whether it's everything molding into one and the Flash dying, or all these characters coming back and you realizing that, like, you know, all this stuff isn't as hunky-dory as we thought, or it's, you know, Flashpoint, in which they change a bunch, then realize that was a bad idea, and then have rebirth happen to try to fix that by blaming it all on Dr. Manhattan, which, if you watch our last episode, I think that's what they're doing so far.
We've gone over a lot of stuff and not much with the trailer.
Sorry, let's go back.
Let's go with the trailer really quick. Aquaman is right. Well, here's why we haven't gone much over the trailer. This trailer did not show anything about the actual plot. The trailer didn't have anything going on except for introducing characters, which one of them who was not introduced was Cyborg.
He was introduced. He said
barely.
Stuff. He was like, "I got a boom tube."
Yeah. Okay, so so they introduced all the characters. That was kind of fun. Aquaman's gonna be the best part of the movie.
I mean, he's gonna be everyone's favorite part of the movie, but they're playing on that because
Jason Momoa.
But because everyone loves Jason Momoa.
He's the Rock,
so cool.
but not the Rock, which is weird.
He is the
He's
other
the Rock,
Rock,
but not the Rock. Yeah, so Jason, and then him riding on a fucking Batmobile was fun.
So cool.
And so that looked cool. And then so, you know, I think this is going to be a fun movie. It was weird to me, but it's a first trailer. The TV trailers would definitely show Superman.
No, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Look,
Superman.
I think they're not. You're right. You're right. They're going to show it.
Yes.
But couldn't we have just if we just left out all the Doomsday stuff in those old Batman versus Superman trailers? Wouldn't it have been a fun reveal?
Yes.
So can't we just have that with Superman?
No, because
that?
marketing doesn't work like that. Because they want to show that Superman's going to be there so that people get more excited about it. Because
you don't need Superman in there.
The other people who don't know who the Justice League are going to be like, "Wait, where's Superman?"
You have just Jason Momoa. It's like
even though they might remember that Superman died, so then they'll be like, "Oh, I guess he's not coming back."
Well,
that
marketing, movie made $700 million.
We work in marketing. We're not going to let that happen. That's the trouble.
I would fight for
that's
it.
true. I would make sure it's in there.
And I would be like, "No, Chris."
I need the normies to know.
I would be taking my shoe out and banging it on the table like we're at a UN meeting. And I'd be like, "No, Chris, we can't reveal Superman." He'll be like, "But the money, Taylor.
Yeah,
the money, Taylor." And I'll be like, "Your damn artistic integrity, you son of a bitch!"
I got none. Because I make Zack Snyder movies. I market them. That's why I find artistic integrity.
Fair enough.
Okay, so the trailer was fun. It was great. It did not have anything involving plot.
Flash looks so good, though.
Flash looks very good. I still don't like the Blue Lightning.
But I've been thinking about that, but think about how much they really utilize that yellow lightning anytime the Flash is actually running fast in the TV show.
But it's the
red lightning
everywhere.
No, I know. But I still feel like, and I don't know if we ever talked about this on the show, I'm going to in-depth analysis on you real quick, Chris, because you love this. In the first trailer for Justice League, the one from a while ago, Batman throws a batarang.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
At Barry Allen. And first he moves quickly out of the way, but then it goes slower. He moves quickly and the thing's already going slow, but it goes slower and to show him comprehending everything that's going on, because in the New 52, and this is very heavily based, like we said, on the New 52 Justice League, Barry Allen gains a power called Speed Force Thinking, or whatever. No, we don't know what he's talking about. Speed Force Thinking, in which he then can think, it makes sense too, why not just physical attributes, why not your brain working as a muscle, faster, so he can think through all the different scenarios of what he can do, so he could do cooler stuff and can take care of everything.
Like in the movie Premium Rush.
Sure.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, have you seen that?
No.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt riding in the city, he can stop, and then he can either see if he goes left. It was fucking great. Leave a comment if you've seen that movie, dude. That movie's awesome. You should watch it. You should watch that movie. It's really good.
Okay. Chris
better
likes
than
riding
BVS.
Bicycles. No, that's your sixth top movie of all time. Anyway, so the
so
point is
the ability to think really quickly.
That he thinks really quickly. So you notice that they even do that, and I don't think most people notice that in the trailer, because I've talked to a lot of people, even comic book people, are like, "Oh, I didn't really think about it," but it goes slower. So the blue just might be representing the Flash's view on the world, not what everyone else sees.
No.
You think all that blue shit's fucking flying everywhere when he runs anywhere?
Because then how are they going to explain that? He's going to be running and people are going to go...
He sees the Speed Force.
Yeah, but you think he's going to be like, how's this blue lightning looking? People are going to go, what blue lightning? They go,
Star Labs.
No. I think, and also, I want to say, too, from a non-comic book mind, when it's slowing down and it's showing like he's thinking harder, no, it's just showing the Batarang in an angle where he can see that it's the Batarang, and so that he knows
Watch it again,
it's
Chris.
Batman.
Watch
No,
it again,
I
Chris.
understand what you're saying, but from a normal person perspective, it just shows a movie trick where they slow it down and he can say,
But they slow it down more.
Yeah, they slow it down more for it to slowly show they can see like a leveled out Batarang, and they can go, oh, it's just a Batarang. So that's how Barry
But from
figured
a
out he's
cool
the Batman.
comic book thing,
Yes.
you see it in
I think
two
it's
levels
thinking
of speed.
into it. I think it's thinking into it.
I think that
What do you guys think?
Zack Snyder's finally
Are you
doing
still
one
here
thing
watching
right.
this? Let us know.
I think it looks fun.
Yeah,
However-
I mean, obviously we're gonna go see it.
I mean, yeah,
that's the worst
naturally.
part is that we're gonna fucking
There's no
see
way,
it.
no, way you can
Let's
avoid
go over
it.
the movies, the MCU and DCU, EU. I hate that.
There's 5
that are
movies
coming out
this
this
year. Well, if we already have to,
in chronological order.
they have to be MCU or DC, or can they be like even
Comic book
DC
related?
comic book related? Because you got Lego Batman in February.
No, I don't count that.
Okay, so we just
something that's going to create a canonical movie. Even like I said, Lego Batman
Okay,
would,
so-
but still, first one.
Guardians,
When does that come out?
May.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That got a bump up from August? Wow, that's going to make a bunch of money. Okay, so May, Guardians Volume 2.
June, Wonder Woman.
Yep.
August or September,
August. It'll be August.
Thor.
Okay.
Justice League
Yeah.
is November. There's
Yeah.
one more though. Did we already
I mean,
watch
there's
one?
Star Wars Episode 8.
No, did we already
but-
watch a Marvel movie? Logan.
Yeah, don't count that either.
Oh, it's not. But I'm just
No,
saying.
I got
But
that either.
okay, so there's 4 though. There's
Yeah.
2 from each company.
Yeah, and that's going to happen for the next couple years.
That's
That's
too
going
much.
to happen.
I
There's going
love
to be
comic
fatigue. There's going to be
books.
fatigue.
I got fatigued when I watched Doctor Strange. Although thinking back on it, I ended up liking it more. But like
Yep.
in the middle of that movie, I was like, "Gosh, I thought I already saw Iron Man."
Yep. Well,
It's
next year is
good.
going to be Black Panther for MCU,
And
then
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
And
Are they doing? Hold on. Next year, are they also doing
Avengers.
Avengers. too?
Avengers 1.
Part. We get Avengers as
Part
well.
1. It's only 1 now. They said they're not calling it Part 1 and Part 2 anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Same thing with Justice League. There's like we're not calling it 2 parts. But it is.
Yeah.
Avengers Part 1 is next
Infinity
year.
War. Yeah.
So that means Black
Three
Panther
of them
and
next
Captain
year.
Marvel are next year.
And Avengers.
So yeah, 3 MCU
Holy
movies.
cow.
And then I think 2018 is also... No, 2020 I think is Green Lanterns.
Yes.
So then
That's all
I
that's
think
a ways
next
away.
year is either Cyborg or Flash or
I thought they were
Aquaman.
doing. Was that next year? I thought they were also doing Part 2 of Justice League, even though they're not calling it that.
Maybe.
I thought they were.
It
doing
could
Justice League
be
Part
then
2.
also
They're filming the whole thing
Aquaman,
now.
Flash, and Justice League.
Craziness. Do you guys think that's too much?
too
like,
many.
let us. I think it's too much.
Too many
definitely.
movies, too many movies.
Especially because we have to pay to see all these damn things in the
Well.
theaters because we're not going to wait because of all the fucking spoilers are going to come.
Spoilers.
And then the teaser, the post credits.
There's like people like us talking about
Yeah,
it.
like that's we just sit down. We don't know. No one actually watches it, but we want to talk about it. And then that 2 guys who hadn't gone to the movies yet accidentally saw this on their playlist that was recommended next watch after their reaction video to the season finale of Arrow, and here we are. But that's gonna wrap up Comics Chat with Yat. Let us know what you thought about it. Let us know what you think about the trailer. Really, we don't care what you think about us. Let us know what you think about the trailer. And if you thought it was fun, clearly, like you don't. We are surmising so much from the plot based on what we think it will be based on Justice League War. And so, with that, you know, everything can change. We'll obviously get a TV trailer soon, and we'll be able to see more about what it's saying. There's definitely going to be a trailer with this, and you think a new trailer with Wonder Woman? You think a new one?
That's too soon.
You actually, would that be weird if they put a trailer with Wonder Woman in it, in the Wonder Woman movie about her origin?
Huh.
They'll have they have to have a Justice League call at the end of Wonder Woman, though.
Oh, there's gonna be a
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Let us know what you guys think. He's been drinking. What have you been drinking? What wine have you been drinking?
I don't know, a cheap one.
Oh, it's not your knocking point anymore?
I already drank all that. It's so good though.
Stephen Amell's wine.
It's really good.
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
Yep, we are. See you soon, Stephen. Bye, guys.
So it's an after credits thing. I want to just say that Spider-Man trailer was great and I loved it.
I didn't like it. I don't care for the kid's voice.
That's all I wanted to say.